The EFL transfer window is open and Bromley are getting raided. The first starters left the club and there are plenty more to go to. And it's just as things were starting to look good on the pitch. I've made some ugly but probably essential tactical changes. And we'll go and review all of that before playing a big game at the top of the National League table. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 47 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We are back today with Bromley and we have finally reached the summit of the league in late January, but I've had to give up a lot of my footballing principles to do so. We'll talk about what I mean in a moment before getting into two very big games in this promotion race. Firstly, our visitors at Eastleigh, they're in second place, just 2 points behind us. They've got a better goal difference too, so a win for them today could put them in the hot seat. And then we go away to Aldershot, the first side outside the playoffs, going to be a very tricky day on the road. So if you're looking forward to all of that and seeing who the big star is that's left, as we talked about in the intro, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Going to be a bit of a tactics masterclass this, because I don't like what I've done, but it has been effective. So hopefully you're looking forward to that. We'll talk all things off the pitch too, because there have been some bizarre moments and I'm still not enjoying it anymore. But let's go and have a look at the transfers, because we've got to reflect on something big that's happened since our last game against Woking. Because if we go and have a look at the history, we have lost one of our star players, and that man is Nico Paulwell, who's gone to Preston for £125,000. He did have a release clause for that value, but the director of football has negotiated a deal that's a bit less upfront, but has a lot of add-ons and a sell-on clause. So I'm potentially not disappointed by that, particularly when you consider that Nico Paulwell has gone straight in and played his first game for Preston. Preston themselves are second in League One under former Luton manager Nathan Jones. They've got a real chance at going up to the Championship now. Reading have run away with it, the side that beat us in the FA Cup tie last time. But after that, 3 points separate 7 or 8 teams. If Preston can go up, his value will skyrocket, and if he plays a part in it, who knows, maybe he gets the sale. It is a bit of a shame because he was a youth academy player, did just make his 100th league appearance before he left, and he was a key starter for us. So there is a potential that we're going to struggle a little bit without him, given his personality was great at the back too. But he is out. We're going to have to find a replacement. Will our director of football bring one in? Who knows? Because since the last episode, albeit the player he bought in during it has become a superstar, a Sapa Osong, the 4 that have come in since are all youth players and are nowhere near first team level, and most of them don't have the potential to be first team level. So we'll wait and see what happens on that. The club's making a big profit. It's gone back into the positive financially, or it did briefly. It's fallen away now. And I did ask for another coaching badge, but unfortunately, I don't think that has worked out. We did get to complete. No, they did permit it. I apologise to them. We went for it when we were about 12,000 in the black financially, and we are now studying for a Continental C, so that will make a difference later down the line. It has also led to a very interesting moment, because we got our first EFL job interview a couple of weeks ago. In fact, over the festive period, Leyton Orient, who were lower mid-table in League 2, they came in and offered us an opportunity. We have been looking at jobs, I'm not going to lie about it, because I'm not hugely happy here. If we go to League 2, Orient about 17th, 18th, probably didn't have a better squad than Bromley, but I was looking at an opportunity to go to the EFL, and again, would have been a fairly local move too. So that's something that might happen later down the line. If we get more interest, we'll see how we go. And good to see, look at the top scorers in the league. Tete Yengi, all bow to the hero. You'll know what I mean if you follow me on Twitch. For now though, let's have a look at the schedule and what's happened since the last episode, because I think you can see what's changed. We have stopped conceding goals, we have started scoring 1 a game, and we have become 1-0 merchants. I know, I'm sorry, it's not the way I wanted to do it, but after that last episode with Maidenhead, with Yeovil, Darlington, all the penalties, everything, it just got too much, and I went, we've got to get promoted here. We're in the early stages of our career. It's taken us 5.5 seasons to get to the National League. We have got to find a way to get promoted and get ourselves to the next level. So that's what I've done. I'd sort of sacrificed the FA trophy, but I think the squad out there was strong enough. I was a bit embarrassed by what happened. Our former club battered us in that one, but the rest of it has largely been 1-0s and a 1-1. So let's have a look at those games. You were with me for the Reading Cup tie, top side in League One. We can't be blamed for losing that. We then bounced back at Guiseley, a 1-0 win through Michael Nelson. And I want to show you these things as we go along, because yes, we're still winning games 1-0. Yes, we're still doing enough now. But let me show you some of the match stats, because we're not getting any better in front of goal. We're not getting any better in terms of performances. In that game, you would argue that take away the penalty, our expected goals, 0.2? So we're probably not deserving to get anything out of that. Guiseley battered us for the most part. We were the better side against Port Vale, nicked a 1-0 through Roman Burrell. We'll then come back to the Maidenhead game. We drew 1-1 with promotion rival Southend. Harvey Greenslade got the equaliser there. We were probably second best and deserved to lose it. A 1-0 win away at Barrow. Greenslade again getting a goal in that one. If we show you the stats, this is one they definitely deserve to win. Bit frustrating we didn't score more in the end. At home to Dorking, it was a 4-1 win. Asapa Osong came to the party. What a man, 4 goals, all in one game. Picked up 2 assists for the 2 Greenslade goals the games prior, and then turned up with his own ones there. He is looking a little bit of a gem for us. And then a 1-0 away at Woking, our live stream club, of course. But if we have a look at the game stats, it was not pretty. It was a disallowed goal that sort of got us off the hook. If we'd gone 1-0 down, I would have feared for us there. But defensively, we performed a lot better. You can see from the match ratings, we've now not got good performers in attacking areas, and we've got great ones defensively. It's a sacrifice I didn't want to make. I'm not particularly enjoying watching us, but it's been effective, and we'll talk about the tactical tweaks that have made that. If we go and have a look at the FA Trophy game, though, it was literally an unmitigated disaster. I changed the defence a little bit. Abraham Kanu came in and was awful. Will Squires made a mistake. Liam Cowan at left wing back was shocking. The only player that was really decent was Paul McIntyre from the start. The benefit, we did get Osong a bit fitter. We did bring Riley back from injury, and we did manage to bring Sablia back from injury off the bench. He got a goal there too. But it was a heavy defeat. It was a bit of a humbling by my former club, and 3 of the goals came from players that were there last year. So that's something we've got to be aware of. They did sack their manager as well after a poor run of form. They're now down in 23rd place. And the club that we rejected to come here, who we beat 1-0 recently, Port Vale, they're in 22nd. So we've got to remember, as much as I'm frustrated at the moment, it could have been worse. And we're top of the league. We shouldn't be too upset. But I'm not sure we're winning many fans with the way we're playing. I'm not sure we're going to be exciting anyone and improving the attendances. But we are getting the wins. And if we go up to League 2, I consider it job done. Let me show you very quickly as we head into the first game what I've done tactically ahead of this match against Eastleigh. This is why we've turned into 1-0 merchants rather than getting done on the counter, because I have changed our tactics very slightly. It's not a big adjustment in the grand scheme of things, but I have changed to a lower defensive line. I sort of had the choice last episode. I cut the bit out because I rambled on for ages, but I had the choice of either pushing the low block up to medium and going really aggressive, or drop into the lower defensive line. And given how a lot of the goals were coming against us, and the fact that we were losing penalties for trips when teams got in behind, I felt we had to take the cautious option. And I know it goes against what a lot of you were saying in the comments, but generally in games where we've tried to push up, where we've tried to be a bit more aggressive, as you saw against Maidenhead, we can see goals galore. So this is what we've gone for. It's worked really well. And I found generally when we haven't gone behind in games, or we haven't lost a goal early in the second half, we've generally been a lot better. I have and ahed with having stay on your feet on. What I've generally done is put it on in during a lot of the matches. And I think we're going to stick with it here as well. So this is what we're going for today. But we've got to find a new solution because Terrell Thomas will come back into the team. We've now got a back 3 without Nico Paulwell, where there's no natural left-sider. And there's not really anyone who can play on that natural ball-playing side because Grehan isn't the best on the ball. He is natural as a centre-half only, not a ball-playing defender. Then add to that Terrell Thomas is a little bit slower, a little bit older. He can maybe do it, but not with the same sort of ability. He does, though, prefer to be on the left in a 2-man partnership. So that might be what I go for today. The other option is Seb Raven in at centre-half, but he's only 5'10". We could then move Nichols over to the left, Hill into the right, and still have a decent team overall. But I think this is what we're going to stick for now. The squad is going down slightly. Lots of players that have gone out on loan, and 1 or 2 now getting sold as well. And that means our 11 for this game is Hilson in goal. We've got Bennett, Grehan and Thomas the back 3. Nichols, Sablia and Revan in front of them. Nelson and Riley the midfield 2. And then I've got a decision up front because Osong and Greenslade had been brilliant recently, but Colquitt came on and scored the winner last time out. They're both the best strikers at the club. Which ones do I go for? Do I play both together for the first time? I don't think so today. Osong's only scored in one match. He's a great super sub to have. And Burrell, for whatever we say about Greenslade, he is the better striker. What do we go for? Last game he got the assist for the winner. Greenslade, what did he do? Not a great deal. I'm going to bring in Burrell. Back to the tried and tested. Burrell and Colkett up front. Let's go and get into it. The top of the table clash is first v second, and this might yet decide the title. And I've got to say, actually, while I don't recognise too many of the attacking names in this team, the defensive ones are pretty good. You've got Ashby Hammond in goal, who's a solid keeper. Magoma and Hawkins, good centre-half. Cerula left-back. And Matty Daly just in front of them. This is a pretty good side, and defensively they've been very sound this season, which is why they've got a great goal difference. Let's go and have a look at the match preview though, see how we get on in the first half. Looks like a decent crowd in at Bromley. It's a big game at the top of the table, and we're in form. Yes, it's always been 1-0, but even if we can get the 1-1 that we got against Southend, I'd probably take it here, as Riley picks the ball up from the kickoff. Never a good sign to be going straight away. In the rain, will we get defensive errors? Will we get that bit of quality? Revan plays the through ball. It's under hit. The back pass wasn't great, but Ashby Hammond does all right. You can see immediately, Eastleigh are intent on playing out from the back. They're playing good football. Can we catch them, or will they beat the press? They get it wide to Marquis on the right-hand side. He carries it down the line. Riley nicks it off him though. Good high pressing. This is what we want to see. Into Colkett. Finds Nelson. He is the one bit of quality in this team. And what a start to the game that is. We see all of the first 43 seconds. We let them play around in their own half. And that's the benefit of the lower line and the lower engagement. They get to halfway and then bang, we're on them. We win the ball back. One shot, one goal. Again, not a brilliant performance, not a dominant start, but we get the goal. And at the moment, it's been the story of just doing enough. Well, I apologise. This is atrocious to watch as a neutral, but we've seen it actually across the board in our saves this year. If you look at the Distillery Build a Nation, when we've had our best spells in that save, it's been when we've been cautious and keeping clean sheets. And maybe that's the way we're going to have to play this year, whether I want to accept it or not. It's been a good half. We've given nothing up defensively, and we lead in a big title clash by 1-0. I don't really care how we win it. Well, there's just over 20 minutes to go. I'm going to look at changes now because it is opening up a little at the top. Eastleigh losing to us. We've also got Southend dropping points. Stevenage the only ones winning at the minute. So let's look at who we can bring off here. We've got Revan struggles normally, but he's doing okay. It's not that he's been awful, just not really standing out. The two ball-playing defenders struggling. I might just change them to normal centre-half soon because it seems to be the way forward. We could play for a wide central defender. Does suit Chris Bennett a little better. For Thomas, it doesn't really make a difference. So maybe that's an option. I don't know if that will make us a bit more expansive. I mean, Bennett is one of the best players at the club. But for now, it's going to be Burrell off for Greenslade. We've got that quality in a target man. Riley's still building his fitness, so it's going to be Thomas Hill on for him. A bit more defensive-minded than McIntyre, and we'll leave the last sub 10 more minutes. 1-0 to Bromley, a poor performance, but you'd argue we've been slightly the better side, and we took advantage of a mistake, which is often what these games are about. What we'll be hoping for now is a Chelmsford equaliser, because that'd give us a bit of a breather. Looking back, what can we do with the team? We have got Colkett not playing brilliantly. Do I just chuck on Osong up front? It's fresh legs. It doesn't affect our defensive display. Let's do it. 5 minutes to go. It's 1-0. Eastleigh haven't had a shot on target. And given how we started this game, I'd be very happy with that outcome. That is a terrible ball from Sablia though, as I say it. 30 seconds plus stoppage time. And you've seen it on this channel before this year. We have let in a few late goals with this team, as it's a long ball over the top towards Farmer. Brings it down well. Are there enough defenders back to deal with it? They did well. They were deeper, they were in a shape, and they forced him to shoot from the edge of the box. So with 3 minutes gone in stoppage time, it is another ugly 1-0 win. 1-0 to the Bromley. Just 1-0 to me. And that is the story of this season. Whenever we have done well in FM23, we've achieved it by being 1-0 merchants. Long may it continue if it gets us promotion. You're not going to get much entertainment here, but you're going to get a lot of results. Some resilient defending, a spate of clean sheets, and a moment of magic again from young Michael Nelson. Well, I think this week would qualify as a disaster at the end of the transfer window because we've just had an extension of a contract triggered for a second player in a week. Mike Jones is that man. He's out on loan. We also had the same situation with McIntyre. Harrison Dunk decided to push his one on as well. He was getting interest from Burnley despite not having the biggest potential, but a good squad player. We didn't want to lose him. Later in the week from that, though, there is an offer from Crawley for Marcus Sablia, who, in terms of the here and now, is more important than either of those two. And that one, of course, has been accepted because Sablia is coming to the end of his contract this year, and about 5 players, including him, have gone and said they're going to consider their options at the end of their contract. And unfortunately, Harrison Dunk couldn't resolve any unhappiness. So there's a bit of a sell-on clause. Yes, it's a decent enough fee, but it's not great, is it? Marcus Sablia is currently a superstar. He's a big part of our plan from set pieces. He's a big part of our plan defensively. And if we lose him, we've not really got a natural replacement in holding midfield. Thomas Hill can do a job, but he's not physically imposing. He's not as good technically. And he's not as good defensively. So I'm a little bit worried about what might go on here. We're losing a lot of big characters. We're losing a lot of good people from the youth team. Marcus Sablia is about to be another. So let's go and get through to what might be his last game today. We go away to Aldershot, and I'm starting to feel like we have to win these games before we lose superstars. Let's go and have a look at the team we can put out. I think it's going to be the exact same 11. The only question is whether I bring Greenslade in, but he didn't do enough off the bench last time out. So I'm going to stick with the same team. It won against the second place side at the time. It now goes away to Aldershot, who I think are still 8th. Note they're down to 9th on goal difference. Let's go and get into it. A big game in this one. And the National League. The title race will hot up if we lose more of our stars. Well, a few decent players in this Aldershot side. We've got Harry Anderson, Jordan Jones, Tyler Cordner. It's a decent spine of the team. Hayden Mullins is in charge. They're just outside the playoffs, and they'll be looking for their way in. So let's pump the fist. Let's go and show how good we are. We've not managed to get anybody else motivated. I just dread what's going to happen on deadline day. There's going to be 4 or 5 offers. How many get accepted is out of our hands, of course. This could be the big negative of the head coach. After having 30 odd players in September, we could be left with 16 at the end of January. As we've got a corner kick with Revan. Can we get the win today, at least on the pitch? To the back post to Sablia. Almost signed off with a goal. You'd imagine he's going to go. But he heads that one just wide. Into the side netting, it remains goalless. And no shot on target yet for either side. I can only apologise again. It's been another awful game. Southend and Stevenage were both winning theirs, which is a little bit of a worry for us. But this is the way we're having to play. It's better than being on tenterhooks all the time. The good news is Stevenage are now behind. Southend are playing Maidenhead. They're having an easier game. And Eastleigh picked up a big injury, though Colquitt's got the ball on the left. Loses out down by the corner flag. Can he win it back? He can't. Cleared to Castle, who goes long downfield. Wilson's up and he flicks it on. We could be in trouble here. We don't concede many, but Andrews is in. Dinks the goalkeeper. And it's just over the bar. It remains goalless, but that was the first big threat against us. What is the Eastleigh score? Still 0-0. So a draw wouldn't be a disaster here. The Sablia heads the ball away to Nelson. It is one of the tougher away games we'll face. But I'd like to get the results while we've still got the strong squad, because I don't think it's going to be this good next weekend. As Castle goes wide. Do I make the changes up front again? Colquitt struggling. Revan again's had an average game. Nickel struggling on the right. And Longman gets in behind to Andrews. Across the box to Wilson. And there is the goal against. It's the thing we dread because we don't often concede first now. And when we do, we very rarely fight back. 1-0 Aldershot with an hour on the clock. I think in a moment, going to have to make the subs. Let's do it. We've got 25 minutes to go. Nichols will come off for Thomas Hill. I'm going to take both of the front 2 off. Greenslade and Osong on. They have made a difference in other matches. I need them to get us a result here. Eastleigh are drawing, but they're losing players. For the long term, that's good. Stevenage getting battered by Hartlepool just behind them, but that's bringing them into the title race as well. And Southend very comfortable at the minute. Let's encourage. We're going to have to go attacking soon. It's been an even game, but we've not done anything with it. And now with 5 to go, we take the brakes off. It makes no difference though. We've got no real goal-scoring threat in this tactic. And while we're picking up a lot of 1-0 wins, it does lead to problems when we go behind. Nobody picks up a 7 rating. It's a disappointing defeat at Aldershot, and I'm not very happy about it. Let's thrash the arms. Let's say we're not happy, but who will be here in 2 days' time? Let's skip ahead to deadline day. A little bit of bonus content and see how many are at the club at the end of the day. Well, we're back on the 1st of February, which is after the EFL window is shut. I know that Marcus Sablia did leave early on deadline day, but there are 9 messages, and I'm just hoping there's not going to be a nasty surprise. We had a bid for a 17-year-old go in, but no first teamers, so I don't think we're going to have the strongest squad this half of the year. Just please do not let anyone be gone. They're not. That's a positive sign. So just Crawley for Sablia 55 grand plus a sell on, which for someone with 5 months on their contract isn't awful. And we are left with this side. Andy Riley stays. Nicky Colkett stays. But where on earth are the goals going to come from? That's the question I want to know the answer to. Fingers crossed we can get over the line. Because just as things were starting to look good on the pitch, we've now lost 2 of our stars. And we're definitely weaker than we were a month ago. But let me know in the comments overall, do you think the tactical change I've made is right? I know it didn't work out against Aldershot, but generally, it has definitely been the way forward. And even in that game, in fairness, we only let in 1 goal and didn't look like conceding much. I feel like it's an essential means to an end, as much as it's not really what I'd like to do. Let me know if you agree with that decision and what you think of the players that have been sold. Will our director of football go and find replacements? The non-league window is open till the end of March. If you want to find out and you did enjoy this episode, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM23 content. We'll be back, of course, with our Build a Nation save tomorrow. It's been a big start to the season in that one. You can find our transfer special from yesterday up in the eye above. There's also links there to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and so much more. But I'll put that transfer special from our Build a Nation above my head now. And I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time as we return on our way towards the title race.